My name is Roy Cullins. I run a small grassroots nonprofit 501c3 called Caught in the Crossfire Inc. Our primary mission is to serve youth and families who are caught in the crossfire of substance abuse, poverty, and addiction.
So when I first met Roy, I was like, honestly, like, okay, like this guy, but and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna hang out with him, get to know him more with our mutual friend, and I started to notice what he was about and the conversations we would carry on with. He was really respectful and really genuine as a person, and you don't come across a lot of those people, so especially with a man that could step up and help a person as a woman, especially from a different range. I look at him as my father, so our bond and our relationship's gotten a lot closer and with trust as well. I'm happy that he's in my life. He's the only closest male to me in my life, the only adult figure, person I could actually speak to and conversate with my feelings to, connect with in a spiritual way. And that's amazing. That's what I've always wanted with somebody, especially a parent. It's awesome.
As I sat and talked with her and learned a few things about her, I was very impressed with her story, having been basically running and living and surviving on the streets of Encanto from age 14 up until to today, where she's 21 years of age, without becoming pregnant, without being strung out on heroin or methamphetamine, without racking up, criminal arrests. She's finishing her high school diploma. She has some career goals, and it just struck me as, somebody that I wanted to try to help. When she told me about her father and how much she hated him, and she didn't really speak that very highly of any male figures for that matter. And so as I became closer to her and befriended her and started trying to help her figure out some things in her life, so I started doing some research, and I came across the Fatherless Daughter project book. All I can say is that after reading the book, it's made me a much better stand-in father, as it's referred to in the book, than I ever possibly could have been without it.
It was pretty much cold, I guess. It wasn't something I experienced, something I kind of always wanted. I would ask like questions to wonder where my father was at, which were lies or just wasn't around. So I started getting the hint that it wasn't. He just didn't want to be around us.
A couple of things that I wanted to bring up is the resiliency and resourcefulness of a fatherless daughter that's mentioned in the book. Karina has survived in one of the roughest neighborhoods in Canto. The apartments where she lives and grew up a good part of her life are just down the street from the corner of Euclid and Imperial, which is known as the Four Corners of Death in San Diego. It's just not a very safe neighborhood, so the fact that she was able to bounce back, so to speak, and grow into a good young woman despite her having to survive in that environment is truly a testimony to her strength and character. Another thing that they mention is that when fatherless daughters do find somebody to love that they really love, and it's like, I feel it with her, and you can feel it and you can see it when we're together. I know it's very difficult for Karina to tell people that she loves them, but when she tells me, I believe her, and you can feel it. It's extremely warm, genuine, sincere, and very intense. And I know that she does not say that very often. Without a doubt, that when she does say it, that she means it absolutely 100%. Another thing that we've kind of had an issue with it is brought out in the book a little bit that really has kind of played a role in our relationship was the fact that she will get very close and then she will distance herself. Then she will get very close and then she will distance herself. And the book helped explain that to me because I couldn't understand what's going on. What am I doing? What's wrong with her? And what I figured out that I was not doing anything wrong and there was nothing wrong with her. What it was just the emotional dynamic of her fear of being abandoned again. She wants that closeness, and she wants to close that gap, but perhaps feels a little threatened, a little bit of fear that she's going to lose, someone that has taken her into their life. So I just want to assure her and assure the world that I never give up on her. Well, a couple of things that really struck me in the book that still stand out now that I don't even have to go into the book to remember is Miss Denna Babul, one of the authors of the book, had made a statement in there that about a stand-in male figure that was her uncle and that he was always there. So one of the mantras that I have now I actually have two of them, and one of them is, I will always be there. And then the second one is, never give up. And I got to get emotional about that because here's a young girl living with no male support in her life, no family support really of any kind to speak of, and doing a pretty good job, in my opinion, of surviving, overcoming, and just being able to, to move forward in her life with what little that she has. And and that always touches me. Another part that strikes me that I don't have to remember is the fact that it takes a special person to take the broken pieces and help put them back together. I encourage anybody who thinks that they have what it takes, are willing to never give up and to always be there, to consider putting yourself out there as a stand-up father. I like to say this, step up and be a stand-in, because it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done, to give the young girl, something to lean on, somebody to lean on, someone to turn to. I've had many, many deep conversations with Karin about just about every facet of her life, and I know for a fact that she's never had a lot of these conversations with any other human being on this planet. I can sense it when we're talking, and she's even told me so herself.
To not just be judgmental and just think this person's trying to hurt you or manipulate you, which is the total opposite, when they just want to show you and guide you and love you and respect you and treasure you as a person. So to any of the young ladies out there that have no father or both parents, open up your hearts and let it flow with the right thing and the right person that comes along your way that wants to be there for you, woman or male, a parent.
To those of you that are out there possibly considering stepping up as a stand-in father, the only things that I can suggest is be willing to always be there and never give up. There are times, trust me, when Karina tests my patience, and I will never give up. So if you can internalize those two qualities, concerning the young woman or older woman for that matter, that you're wanting to be a stand-in father for, then yeah, I think you'll be okay. The other thing, obviously, is that you need to have what it takes, in my opinion. You need to be able to have emotional and physical, sexual boundaries that are appropriate, and be a strong enough character to bear the emotional weight sometimes of the both of you, because that's what it's going to take. This experience with Karina has stretched my ability to love somebody unconditionally. It's stretched my abilities to be there unconditionally. It's stretched my abilities to accept somebody for who they are. And there's just so much about this stand-in fatherhood that's so rewarding that I encourage you to get involved, because there's many out there that are in need. I consider it a privilege and an honor to be in her life, and that she thinks about me the way that she does, because I know that she loves me, and I love her too, like she were my own daughter.
I love you, Roy.
I love you too, baby.